Welcome to the Lineman Lounge, hosted by Mike and Evo, calling their shots and being outlandish.
Breaking news from the Lineman Lounge. My fantasy football team just took a huge fucking hit. And that also makes it even more likely that the Raiders are going to beat the Ravens on Monday night. Le'Veon Bell is about to be your starter. Latavius Murray is going to go there as well. Jesus, fuck my ass.
Get ready for the thickest podcast in the game. Coming to you from Hangar 6, where sleeves are optional. Strap in. The show starts right now.
¿Cómo están, bitches? This is the Lineman Lounge. We are back in Hangar 6, where sleeves are always optional. I am Mike. The gentleman to my right is Evo, and I'm excited for today's show. We got a lot of shit to go over. Big storyline is going to be the Baker Mayfield trade. But, I mean, there's still quite a bit of things going on. Small stories. We got some NBA stuff, MLB. Do a recap of UFC 276 for those of you who didn't get to watch it. I absolutely did and paid for it, like I always do. And
it was expensive this time.
It was very, very expensive this time. And then we will also start the show off like we always do with some youth sports. But before we do that, I'm going to kick it over to my guy on the right. How you doing, Evo? How's your weekend going? How you doing, guy?
Weekend is just starting for me. I've pretty much laid in bed in the nude.
Very nice.
All morning while the lady is at work. No, I haven't done a whole lot so far this weekend. I am tired. I've actually Hannah's gonna hate this. I'm as tired as a big dick bat.
Okay. All right. I like that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I get it.
It takes a while for her to like that joke. I'm gonna make that work. I heard that on a comedy special the other night. I'm gonna make it fucking the new thing. Tired as a big dick bat. I am on this diet, man. We were just talking before the show. I want to get a little bit less thick for swimsuit weather when it comes to December down here.
Yeah.
So I am trying to lose a couple of the pounds, and so I am dieting hard where I'm just restricting myself from carbs, nothing like no alcohol, none of that shit. And it is horrible. All I wanted some pizza. And she like went out to an Asian buffet the other day with her grandparents. And I just is like, I'm not going because I'm going to want to have just 100 wontons and dumplings. And yeah, so I'm a little miserable, but it's working so far. So I'm going to keep with it. And other than that, man, it's just, work and going on with life.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm actually on a little bit of a diet myself. We're doing the Whole30. I've done it a couple times. Anybody who doesn't know what the Whole30 is, it's like a deprivation thing. You can't fucking have anything except for all natural foods, meats, cheeses. Actually, not cheese. Can't have fucking cheese. No carbs, no sugars unless they're natural. So everything's natural.
It's like non-processed foods, basically.
Yeah. So, and I mean, we're doing great right now. 2 weeks in, I'm down 10 pounds. But because it's so restrictive, I am allowing myself a couple of drinks every now and then. Not getting crazy, not getting fucked up, but having a couple of drinks here and there, it helps make this diet a little more bearable. I mean, 10 pounds in 2 weeks, I will take that all day, every day. But I mean, yeah, I gotta trim down a little bit. I'm trying to look good for when we go out and play a little Topgolf on our anniversary. I want to try to drop a little pounds for the wife before our anniversary. So speaking of, we are going to announce the winner of that giveaway today. So you guys stay tuned and we will announce those winners and then we'll shoot out messages to you guys. Yeah, Carlton Kid, Whole30 is great. We are going to have some beers on the golf course tomorrow. So I did not know who Carlton was the last time he popped in here, but I did. So Carlton is Coach CJ. He coaches Graydon's baseball team. He's one of the assistant coaches, and he does a great job. That kind of kicks us right into our first topic, like it always does, is some youth sports. So Graydon's Gerber baseball team went out, got another win. Should put us firmly in third place in the standings. We have one more game against a pretty weak opponent. That should guarantee us third position. We got one game that's rained out. I don't know if we'll make it up. I think the only way we will have to make it up is if it will affect playoff seeding because it is against the number one team, but they are undefeated. So we're not going to move up above them. They're not going to move down. However, if we were to lose that game, it may kick us down to a 4 seed because I believe there are 6 teams coming in. But boys played a really good game. They ended up winning 7-0. Graydon got in last 3 innings. He's kind of become the closer for the team. It'll be, close game or something like that. Graydon will come in, kind of shut him down. And he's been really good. We've been developing some pitches. So he's always throwing a little sinker. He does not like the typical 4-seam grip. So he kind of switched to, down the seams, throwing a little sinker. Every once in a while, he'll get a little movement. Not too much movement on that thing, though. He's also been kind of developing a cutter. Now, he doesn't throw the ball hard enough for the ball to actually cut like it's supposed to. But with his arm angle, he will get a little bit of glove side movement. So that's a nice pitch. He actually threw it one time, and it actually did exactly what he wanted to. He was super pumped about it. Still working on that changeup. He knows how to throw it. He just doesn't know how to throw it for strikes yet. And then he does have his 4-seam as well, but he fucking hates throwing it. Like, does not like the grip on it at all. But yeah, good win. 7-0. Boys are firmly in the playoff spot. And then I think there's 6 teams in. So if we can stay in that number 3 seed, that will give us a favorable matchup going into that first round of the playoffs until we run into the buzzsaw that is those top 2 teams. One is 12-0. The other one, I believe, is 12-1. So it's going to be tough to win those games, but we just got to find a way to put it all together when we get to that point.
Very nice. And that'll be really cool to watch Graydon develop and see those different pitches and stuff develop as he gets older, gets more power, more strength, and more understanding of just the biomechanics of what is happening with that arm.
Right.
But also it'll be interesting to see what he really wants to focus on going forward. Because I know, at least for me, as I got older, I started to focus way more on football. I mean, I played baseball. I really devoted myself towards baseball in the summers, even, through high school and stuff. But it was football's my craft. Mm-hmm. And this is where I'm always focused on football. And I happen to be playing some baseball.
Right. So Graydon is very much a football player. But with his uptick in performance this year, especially on the mound, he's really starting to love baseball a little bit more. Like, he likes playing third base. He likes playing first base. Third base before that's the only place that he did play because he was really good there. The only place he wanted to play. Now that he's pitching on a very consistent basis, he absolutely loves it. He's constantly trying to learn more things. He wants to get these pitches down. So I think that he's going to probably continue that love of baseball, and especially at the pitcher spot, and want to develop that. I hope that doesn't detract from his love for football, because he is a big boy, and he is very good at football. I'm excited to see kind of how he shapes up out here, because football is starting in the next couple weeks. 10 days from now, he's going to have a little tryout evaluation for the league, and then they'll go into the draft. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. We do have his weight down a little bit right now. We were worried about him being in pads, being over that 165 mark, but he's dropped down to 145 pounds now, because he's also doing a little bit of dieting, got him back on his workout regimen. And he's actually enjoying it this time. He can kind of see that things are getting better. He feels better. He's performing better on the baseball field. So he's all in on that. And yeah, so I'm not worried. We can put 20 pounds of pads on him at this point, and he still makes weight. And I don't think a 10-year-old's pads are going to weigh 20 pounds. Now, his helmet may weigh 10 alone, because he has got a big-ass dome. But
yeah, those helmets weigh quite a bit. But hey, that's like the biggest thing with the diet is like the first couple days are a struggle. But if you're able to see results after those first couple days, whether it's just stepping on the scale, that's motivation enough, man. Where you're kind of like, okay, this is obviously doing something. Right. That's what it is for me, man.
Yeah, me too, man. If I'm eating healthy and I feel good, and then I step on the scale, I'm like, oh, you've gained 3 pounds, and we were like, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
this is not what I signed up for.
Uh-huh.
So, but all right, man, I got nothing else on U Sports. You got anything else? I know we brought up the man Derek Hall last week. Any updates? Any conversations going out there in Sierra Vista about that young man out there playing for the Phillies?
I mean, he's still cruising. The town is still obviously watching him. I have seen in my limited time going off to the bar and stuff like that here in town, where I'm not drinking. They've been having like Phillies games on and stuff in the bar.
Nice.
I've actually been seeing him on TV, just out around in the town, and then obviously on social media and stuff. He's still popping up in local circles because he's still cruising, man.
Yeah.
Another home run. He's still obviously hasn't been up in the majors that long, and he is still cranking them out. So that's awesome. We're really proud of him here in Sierra Vista, even though didn't see him play as a youth, but he's obviously succeeding here as an adult now, and that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he is absolutely cruising. So do you know Byron Martin? He was out there at Huachuca for a little bit.
I know him. I don't know that he knows me. I definitely know the name, and he's a recognizable personality. So
yeah, he was talking. He's like, man, I mean, he's hitting bombs, but he's got to start hitting the ball a little bit more. I was like, give him some time. He's new. Next day, goes out 3 for 5, fucking hits another home run. The kid is absolutely on a tear right now. And I posted something on Twitter. He just got a nice little upgrade in MLB The Show. He's got a 91 overall card, fucking just taking him deep. Also, sent out some feelers, see if we can maybe get him on the show. I mean, they're super fucking busy. I don't think they have an off day till the 14th. And then they got the All-Star break, but Major League Baseball is every fucking day, basically. Those guys don't get a break. On the days that they're not playing, they're traveling. So, but yeah, congratulations to that kid, and keep it up, man. Everybody is rooting for you. But all right, so we're going to hop into the show, and we're going to start a little different than we normally do. We're actually going to start with a recap of UFC 276. So Evo and I both were able to, watch this for a very, very handsome fee. And card did not start out great, man. I was very, very disappointed with the way the first fight went. First round it was interesting. A lot of feeling out. Looked like Sean O'Malley was starting to get going a little bit, starting to get off. And then the eye poke, go ahead and ends it. And the way it looked watching the fight is, come on, like it wasn't that bad. Like he didn't stick his finger in your eye. It was a lot of palm and maybe a graze. Comes out after the fact that Munoz has a scratched cornea or something like that. So it was pretty bad. He probably could not see. And that sucks because, the guy I wanted to see go off was Sean O'Malley. I wanted to see him continue his role, kind of keep building that resume that he's put together as just a knockout artist, and ready to watch this guy fight some more big fucking fights. Start, maybe headlining a pay-per-view instead of opening a pay-per-view. But he is still on his kind of entry contract. He's got one more fight on that entry contract before he starts making big money. Hi, pussy.
Yep, got some pussy floating around here. Yeah, I was real disappointed by that. I mean, we were both rooting for O'Malley there, and it's always like a big letdown, a bit of a cock tease when you have a fight that you're really looking forward to, and I would rather have seen him lose than have a no contest, man.
Yeah,
it's just, it feels so hollow. It sucks.
Ties. It's fucking ties, and ties suck. And that's one of the main reasons I fucking basically refuse to watch soccer, because they'll play for 90 plus minutes with extra time and be a tie. Like, hey, it was a great game. It's like, no, it wasn't. Nobody fucking scored. Nobody did anything. So when you get a tie, especially in a combat sport, you're like, okay, well, this fucking sucks. Like, massive letdown.
Yeah. But it was an interesting rest of the night too, though. Because I popped in right at the end of that Sean O'Malley bout when they were just like talking about it at the end, and I was like real bummed about that. But then we had Robbie Lawler and Brian Barberena. Barberena winning that one.
Yeah, Barberena's got some thunder in those hands. Now, Robbie
Mhm.
Lawler is getting up there in age. His chin is probably not what it used to be. And Robbie Lawler will bang. So that was a very exciting fight because those were two dudes who were throwing bombs, trying to knock each other out. Barbarea landed, put Robbie out. And I mean, it was exciting to see. I love Robbie Lawler. I think he's probably about done, though. We saw, Donald Cerrone just go out, retire. I feel like Robbie Lawler is very quickly on that same path. I mean, you
Yep.
can continue to fight, but the money is not good enough for those guys when they're not headlining to continue to put your body through that, I think. So at this point, I know you probably still love it, but hang up the gloves. You had a great career. You're probably going to the Hall of Fame, Robbie. Like,
Mhm.
you're a former champion. So
And with as many fights as he's had just in the UFC alone, I mean, we're talking about 45 fights and 46 fights in the UFC alone. Uh, you are going to be taking a lot of physical trauma from that, head trauma and stuff like that, and you got to start to think about the rest of your life after fighting. I mean, at this point, the damage done is probably done,
yeah,
but
oh yeah.
you know, it's not a bad thing to get out while you still have what's between your ears. So,
Yeah, CTE is not fake. It is no joke.
we like Robbie Lawler. Obviously, like you said, he can bang. He's fun to watch, but I'd rather him be able to step aside and not just become a punching bag out there,
Right.
which is much of what Cerrone was kind of becoming. Like he was the guy
Yeah,
that will
Cerrone was
fight
getting
anybody.
beat up.
He'll fight anybody, and to a fault, to
Yeah.
his health. At that point, at the end. And it just wasn't as fun to watch the guys that, not to say your heroes are going out and getting beat up every time, but it's guys that you respect and you like, and just seeing them go out there without a ton of chance anymore.
Right. And Cerrone and Lawler are guys that everybody in the UFC knows and respects because of the things that they have done. So, like, you're not going at retiring is not the same thing as quitting, right? Right. You don't
Mhm.
have to go out on your shield where you cannot function anymore. Like, I always think back, like Muhammad Ali fought way past when he should have fought. And we saw some of the things that happened with him later in life. And obviously those are things you would like to avoid for your health going forward. Cause I mean, I couldn't imagine trying to go through that. And then now that we know about CTE, it's not worth it. But all right, let's move on to that next fight. Sean Strickland and a guy that looks absolutely fantastic, and Alex Pereira. So the storyline was not necessarily about this fight between these two guys. Alex Strickland, very good fighter, top 5. I think he is 5th in that weight division. So he's a no fucking joke. Alex Pereira is relatively new to the UFC, has made the transition over from kickboxing. Well, Alex Pereira made a big name for himself by beating the fuck out of Israel Adesanya twice in kickboxing. And now he is on a war path to meet back up with Israel Adesanya and see who could do it inside the octagon. Pereira was amazing. That short little left hook that he landed to put him out, got him with another one going down. That dude has absolute thunder and lightning in his hands, and he will put you out in a heartbeat. I have not seen Israel Adesanya put somebody out like that. And it'll be an interesting matchup when those guys do meet, because that's going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
Israel Adesanya if they won't just make it, Israel's going to call him out, or Pereira's going to call him out.
Adesanya was calling him out at the end because Pereira went back in the crowd and started watching the rest of the fights afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And so, they were cutting to him back and forth during that main event. And I'm pretty sure there was a call out there at the end by Adesanya when Rogan was talking to him. He's like, everyone knows what's up next. And he's like, I know you're out there watching. Hope you got a good view type thing. And it's like, we're going to bang knuckles. So that's, we'll obviously get to this final, match of the night, but I think that's, as
can that be next though? Can an unranked guy go beat the number 5 and then get a title shot? That doesn't feel like it's. Now, we've seen this happen in the past. Michael Chandler has come in after being a champion in another organization. But are we going to toss Alex Pereira in there immediately? And is that what Izzy wants because he's so fresh? because he's new to UFC, that you get him in there early so you can, try to put him away and say, okay, no, I avenged that loss, and now I don't have to fight this guy again.
I don't know, because I mean, Adesanya's so good, and he's kind of the guy that I'll fight anyone here in middleweight, and I think he's kind of gone through most of the middleweight guys and beat them to the point that it's like anyone new, it's fresh blood. You just kind of want to get him in the ring, get him out of the way type thing.
Yeah.
For UFC, I don't know if that's the best thing, but I mean, it's kind of the hottest matchup that he has to fight right now. So maybe you do have that just to kind of continue with Adesanya and get as much out of him as you can. Whereas also, if Pereira goes in there and wins, then you've got at least two more,
fights,
right? Yeah. So I don't know, man. I kind of feel like that might be what they're leaning towards doing. It would be interesting for a number 5 guy to make that jump all of a sudden for a title, but
a guy who's currently unranked because they have not updated the rankings following that beat number 5. So he's probably going to go 2-5 would be my guess, or somewhere right around there. And so that's a massive jump and very quick because he does not have many fights under his belt. He's got 7 UFC fights, 6-1. So that'll be wild. And Israel Adesanya has not lost a fight at middleweight. It wasn't until he went up to light heavy that he got beat by some Polish power. So in middleweight, he is undefeated in the UFC.
Yeah,
that'll be awesome. I cannot wait to watch that fight. And then I'm actually going to be pulling for Pereira because I'm done with Izzy. His fights are boring, man. But I feel a little differently. Okay. But yeah, we will get there. So our co-main event though was featherweight fight between Volkanovski and Max Holloway. Now Max Holloway getting up there a little bit in years, but he's definitely a fan favorite as well. And Volkanovski, for me, it's like I just don't like looking at him. Like he just angers me kind of. I don't know why, and it's like I shouldn't, but it's just something about his fucking face. I don't know. But Volkanovski came out and really was starching Max, man. Like it almost didn't look fair. But we knew Max had trained for this, and he was just so much faster. Like Max, I don't know if it was Max looked slow or Volkanovski was just that much faster. So Max looks like he has lost a little bit, but I've never thought that Max. If you'd have said Max Holloway is slow, people would have been like, "Well, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about." Max Holloway has never been slow. Now he is getting up there, but maybe has he lost a little bit, but he is not slow. And Volkanovski was just lightning fucking quick, and really, this is crazy to say, use this reach advantage to kind of pick Max apart. Max, Volkanovski is built to be a fucking fighter. He was like 4 inches shorter than Max Holloway and a 4-inch reach advantage. Like he has got some massively long arms, so he can just pick you apart, and it works perfectly for his style because he gets in, gets out, counters. It's so fast he can move out of the way. He's a fantastic champion. But with another guy, I think is kind of fucking boring because he's so good at slipping and dodging and defense. And I want to see dudes throw fucking bricks at each other's faces.
Yeah.
But Volkanovski's not that guy. He's not a guy you're going to have to worry about taking too much damage. He's going to go in there, put together a game plan, pick you apart, and walk out as a champion, and will probably be going for a second belt here in the near future.
Yeah, he's so technically sound in all aspects of the game that he doesn't take that much damage because he's able to keep himself clean for the most part, take his shots when he needs to get them, but the shots that he takes are fucking rough. Like he hits hard, dude. I mean, Holloway
hard enough to break his own hand.
Credit to Holloway for sticking it out for 5 rounds because it was very early on that Holloway had a cut in that eyebrow that you could stick your entire pinky finger through. Yeah. Like it was nasty, and he was bleeding the whole time, and Holloway still stuck it out there for 5 rounds. So credit to him for that. But I mean, Volkanovski definitely put one on him. I'm pretty sure it's got to be the end of it. If Holloway had won, because in their second match, Holloway did win through the first couple rounds, and it was very close. Yeah, it was very close. It was arguable who had won that second match. So of course they're gonna have this third, and with Volkanovski having technically won the first 2 and winning this third one, I mean, this is pretty much the end of it. Now, if Holloway had won this one, then we're talking about another match here in the future to kind of hopefully cement where things are going. But yeah, it's a big win for Volkanovski. But like you said, I get where you're saying that it's boring, but it's almost like I respect
it.
how good they're in their craft.
Yeah.
And it's because no one's challenging them. That's what makes it boring.
Right.
And I guess that kind of takes us into our main event which is Adesanya and Cannonier. And Cannonier did well as well, but
Cannonier was in that fight.
Adesanya almost looks bored because he's not really getting challenged as much. Same with Volkanovski. They're not really getting challenged as much because they're so technically sound and so good in what they do.
From the same camp as well. Those guys train together. So they work the exact same game plan. They're going to get in, hit you, slip out, avoid damage. I mean, Cannonier was in that fight probably through the first 2 rounds. And then it looked like he started getting a little desperate, getting him up against the cage, but not doing much work. And then Izzy did what he does, took his shots, moved, comes away with a win. A couple judges, I want to say, had it all 5 rounds for Israel Adesanya. I thought Cannonier won that second round, but it really didn't make a shit and bit of difference because Izzy won all the other 4.
I was going to say, I thought Cannonier might have gotten 1 out of there.
I thought he got the second.
But that's the thing is that I believe that the way that they're playing is like they understand how the point scoring system is going for these judges. They don't need to go out there and get the knockout. They know that they have the cardio, the cardio to last 5 rounds if need be. And they know that they can get through that without taking very much damage and that they can get a majority of the shots. And so if they're able to do that and get the points, they can win after 5 rounds regardless. So that's their game plan. And it works. I mean, does it make for less of an explosive fight? Sure. But no one's challenging them yet. No one's putting them on their heels where they have to start actually thinking outside of their game plan and reacting differently and having it be more of a fight.
Right.
You know?
I like my champions to starch people. I want to go back to the Rampage Jacksons, those kinds of guys that were out there just fucking headhunting and laying dudes out, leaving no doubt. Like those are the champions that when I started really getting into the sport, those are the guys that I followed, the Chuck Liddells, and who were just.
I mean, Liddell was my first guy, man, the Iceman. But it doesn't make for as explosive of a fight, but I respect it so much that I enjoy it.
Yeah,
it doesn't bore me necessarily, even though it looks like the fighter's almost bored in there because they're just going with their methodical approach to it. Yeah. Now, that's what I hope is that we start to have people where a Pereira can come up and fight Adesanya and maybe put him out of his comfort zone, and then Adesanya actually has to show why he's the best right now in the middleweight division. I'm excited for that fight. Has to get out of that comfort zone. That's what I'm looking forward to because those fights are good.
Yeah, the level between Israel Adesanya and the rest of the middleweight division is very clear. Same thing with Volkanovski. Like the gap there is just so massive that, I mean, Volkanovski is probably going to make the jump and go try to fight for another belt. Israel Adesanya now obviously has to wait until Pereira gets his shot. He's already tried to make the jump before. I think he's a little too small to move up to the light heavy. Kind of that showed a little bit in his one matchup there.
Yeah.
But I mean, we got to find other fights for these guys. Pereira is obviously up next, but Volkanovski hasn't had anybody fight.
Yeah.
So because Max is probably the second best in that weight division. Has been for a long time, and he's put him out 3 times. Like he's hasn't finished him. He has won all 3 of their fights. So you got to look other places for more fights because if you're a champion, you got to fight twice a year, probably. I don't know what their rule is, but you should have to fight probably twice a year because if you're not defending it, you're going to vacate your title. One thing that I did see that I would be all for, Sean O'Malley was doing a little press conference afterward, and there's a little interaction between him and Triple C, guy who has been retired. He was an Olympic gold medalist, double belt holder in the UFC, has been retired for a little bit, but is constantly running his mouth on social media. I'd like to see him get back in the fight because his fights are exciting, even though he's kind of a prick. I mean, but he's kind of my type of prick where he knows he's so fucking good. So, I mean, if Sean O'Malley wants to take a massive step up in competition, bringing Triple C out of retirement would be very interesting. I love Sean O'Malley. I just don't like his chances in that fight because Triple C is a Olympic gold medalist in wrestling. I don't think I've ever seen Sean O'Malley go to the ground and have to work from the ground.
Yeah.
I don't know how that would work.
Very different sort of matchup there.
Yeah. So, all right. You got anything else on the UFC?
No, I mean, other than the prelims, early prelims, we had a nasty arm snap.
I missed that. I did not get to see
Jessica Rose Clark versus Yulia. I'm gonna mess this up, but Yulia Stolarenko. Stolarenko won by submission with a nasty arm snap.
Broke her fucking arm, huh?
And then Macy Barber. I'm a big fan of Macy Barber. She's 11-2 in the UFC. I was kind of surprised that she was actually an early prelim. I figured that she'd at least be on the regular prelim card prelims, or possibly one of the early fights. But Macy Barber did get another win versus Jessica Ai in round 3 by decision. So I like seeing those women fighters go at it.
I do too.
Some are real badasses. It gets me a little turned on. So, but other tn that, man, no, nothing else really here for UFC for me.
Yeah. So I've always loved this question by dumb, incredibly naive, testosterone-filled men. Could you take a female UFC fighter? My answer is absolutely not. I'm not even fucking stepping in the ring. Listen.
No.
I was an athlete. I'm not an athlete anymore. You can make the comparisons, boy, girl, whatever. A trained fighter is going to almost always be the untrained fighter. I have not tossed on a set of gloves in fucking years. I got the heavy bag, but we don't have it set up. I haven't done any rolling since I was in the Army, which was a long fucking time ago. So no, I'm not stepping in the octagon with any goddamn woman.
Yeah.
Because you know what's going to happen? Is I'm going to have to hit a girl, which is not a good look, or I'm going to get my ass kicked by a girl who is a fantastic athlete. And there's going to be a lot of people on the internet saying a lot of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Any trained fighter, doesn't matter the gender. I'm not stepping in the ring with them.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Unless I absolutely have to.
Yeah, like if I'm fighting for my life, sure. But yeah, I'm not signing up to go get my ass kicked.
Yep.
Unless Jake Paul wants to fight. I'll take the money.
Yeah.
I'll take the money and I'll go fight Jake
If we're talking money, then we can figure something out.
Yeah, I mean, because Jake Paul would probably also kick my ass. He's actually kind of a boxer. His fight has changed. He's going to fight an actual boxer this time, so I'm excited to see that. But we'll talk about that as it gets a little closer to that fight.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're going to hop over into the NFL. And it's finally happened. The big news of the weekend, Baker Mayfield is no longer a Cleveland Brown. That fucking train wreck has finally come to an end. He is going to be a Carolina Panther, and I would imagine the starter for the Carolina Panthers at the beginning of the season. He is not going to be making as much money as Sam Darnold. So, I mean, Sam Darnold maybe thinks that he is in line to be the starter with his $18.9 million guaranteed salary already on the books. But I would expect that Baker can beat out Sam Darnold in a camp competition, which makes me very excited to watch Callan Callherd lose his fucking mind because he's been saying Baker's terrible and Sam is really, really good for a while. And I've never understood why people put Sam Darnold over Baker. I never understood it, but it's finally over. And it was, before I get into my little diatribe about how this could have gone better on what I think of the trade, I want to get your take on this first, man.
So overall, I think it's a net positive for everybody. Kind of the Browns are able to move on from this part of their quarterback issues and saga. They're able to get a little bit of something for it and not have to completely compensate Baker. So they get a little bit of money off the books there, even if it was just for a conditional 4th or 5th round pick, whatever it ends up turning out to be.
Conditional 5th.
And I believe that conditional 5th upgrades to a 4th. Like that's what I was saying.
I gotcha.
You like it it's not going to be a high pick.
There's
regardless.
escalators. There's escalators if he plays a certain amount.
Yeah. It says, Browns will receive a 4th or 5th round pick in 2024, depending on Mayfield's playing time in Carolina, which we're both in agreement. I think Baker is a better quarterback than Sam Darnold. He should beat out Sam Darnold. The only thing that Sam Darnold has going for him is that he's got time in the system. He knows the system more. So maybe through camp and stuff like that, he will be able to work that to his advantage some. But just pure quarterback play, I think Baker is better. Baker has the potential to be a top 20 quarterback in the league, whereas Sam, I think, has kind of shown that
at best backup.
Yeah.
Mid-tier backup at that. I don't think he is a high-quality backup.
He did his best work last year in the beginning of the season, and then
Sam showed up.
Yeah. So it's a good get for Carolina because it's relatively cheap to get yourself a quarterback that has potential, starting level potential. He's going to give you a better chance to win than Sam Darnold is. And it allows more time for Matt Corral to kind of sit behind these guys and not be forced into the limelight right away. Because if Baker doesn't work out, you've got Sam. And if Sam doesn't work out, you got Baker. You don't have to worry about putting in Corral just right away. But it'll be interesting. I mean, I guess it makes the week 1 matchup way more exciting for me.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. The Panthers are coming to Cleveland in week 1. So if Baker wins that starting job, he will be right back at First Energy Stadium playing against the Browns and in front of that crowd, where I think he's going to receive a very mixed bag of ovations. There's going to be a lot of boos. There's going to be a lot of cheers. I mean, he did take us to the playoffs, something that we had not seen in a long time. But one thing that has really kind of infected the entire Browns fan base, and especially Browns Twitter, all these goddamn Oklahoma fans. Like, they were hard on Baker's jock and were rooting for the Browns because of Baker. And then when all this started going down, we have a massive group of people who are saying, fuck the Browns, all this stuff. And I'm ready for those. I'm ready for all those fucking Sooner fans to be gone from Browns Twitter because they suck. They don't typically know what the fuck they're talking about either. Now, I don't love the way things went down, obviously, right? I think it would have been better. You keep Baker for 1 year. If it doesn't work out, you dump Baker and you go and you draft a quarterback in one of the best quarterback classes we've had in quite some time how this projects. That made way too much sense to me. Like, why do I need to go and pay $45 million a year to a guy who is a massive PR headache, give up a ton of picks, and give him the most guaranteed money ever? That never made any fucking sense to me. Okay. This is not me being, we should have kept Baker because Baker's better than Deshaun. No, that's not true. Okay. Deshaun Watson is a better player than Baker Mayfield, at least the last time that we have seen them on the field. But in terms of running a front office, cap space, which we still have a ton of, and just kind of setting the franchise up for the future, I thought it made a lot more sense to roll with Baker, let him play out his 5th-year option, see what he actually is, and then if it doesn't work out, if he plays decent, you trade him away if you don't like him in the front office, right? Because if he plays decent, he has high value. You can package 2 of those first-round picks that we already gave away for Deshaun to somebody else, and you move up, and then you go pick your guy that you really, really want.
Well, he wouldn't be under contract, though, at that point. Would you really be able to trade him?
That's true. He wouldn't have been under contract. Could I sign him to a fucking sign and trade? I don't fucking know. NBA-style deal. But I didn't get it. I still don't understand it. And I have no idea how it's going to work out because we still don't know what's going to happen with Deshaun, even though I'm seeing a lot of reports that it's going to be 6 games.
Yep. Like we were talking about last week when we had Gabby on, it sounds like it will be less than a year now, even though we thought it was trending the opposite direction. I mean, we really should start to see something here in the next couple days because I believe it was like the 12th or the 14th that people had to have statements in and stuff like that. So I almost expect that we're going to see something maybe by the end of the week, if not early the week after, as to how this is all going to play out. I mean, there's more reports coming out where, I mean, even the son of one of the accusers has come out and said, my mom completely changed her story when she found out that she could
there was
get money
involved.
Yeah. which is not a good look. Like we've said all along, with this many women being involved, guaranteed that some of them have.
Yep. There's going to be some hangers on who are.
But there's going to be people who jump on just try to get some money.
Yeah, and it sucks for the women that this actually happened to. That you have those people that kind of negate the validity of what happened in this situation. But I mean, I don't want to get too much into Deshaun because we don't know anything yet. And once we do, trust me, we're going to bring you guys all the information that we have.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But back to Baker. So they get that conditional fifth. The Browns eat $10.8 million of his contract. So we are paying Baker Mayfield to try to beat us in week 1. I don't love that. I mean, but we knew that was going to have to happen. We were going to have to eat part of that salary. But if we get this deal done on draft night, we get a 3rd round pick and pay the same amount of salary. But the smartest guys in the room were trying to be the smartest guys in the room, ended up fumbling the bag, and now we only get a conditional 5th. They thought that they would have more suitors for Baker. It never materialized. Seattle, I don't know, was ever very serious about it. And then you also had small reports of people popping up. But that's probably the Browns front office leaking information to the press to try to drum up some more interest for Baker.
Yeah, I think Seattle would have been in on Baker had he not been on a team. If the Browns had just straight up released Baker or something like that, then Seattle probably would have made a play for him. Look, for Baker, I think this is the best thing possible.
Yeah.
Other than going to a better team. But there's some offensive weapons there with Carolina. You have a head coach.
One of his offensive weapons fucking hates him already. And Robbie Anderson.
That's true. That's true. But and we'll see if Baker can win him over. And obviously, if he's starting to feed Robbie Anderson the ball, and they are able to develop a connection where they're scoring and getting yards and stuff like that, Robbie Anderson will shut the fuck up and he'll be happy. Because look, if you have someone better than because they had some catching woes last year, but if they are able to put up better stats than they were last year, I mean, it's an upgrade over Sam Darnold. So as a receiver, maybe it's not a great quarterback or something like that, but as long as it's better than what I have, then I'm going to be happy that it's a move in the right direction. Right. But for Baker, I mean, this is his opportunity to put that moxie on the line, all that talk on the line with a lesser team than the Browns. If he's able to go and show that, hey, I can still play in this league, I can be a starter in this league, he's going to get paid next year.
Yeah, he's going to get paid.
Not as much as he could have before, but he'll get paid. He'll get picked up. He'll be a starter quarterback somewhere in the league if he's able to prove it this year. And I know
the perfect place for him too. If he plays well this year and goes and makes it to free agency, look for Baker Mayfield to head down south to New Orleans.
That's a very good possibility.
Like I think that's gonna be, unless Jameis really improves. I
mean, he could possibly be heir apparent to Tom Brady.
I mean, he would love that. I think Baker would love that. Should love that. You got Godwin and Evans down there.
I think Florida wouldn't mind it either.
I don't think they would at all.
Baker being a Florida man.
Oh, Jesus Christ! He'll have some hilarious commercials that come out if he goes down to Florida. Yeah. It'll be a nice little Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield commercial of some kind that happens there.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, I'm going to root for Baker. All right. I want him to succeed. I want him to do well. I was a Baker fan. I'm not a Baker bro. I understand what Baker is. He is right now a bottom tier quarterback. He proved at one point that he was a top 10-ish quarterback. And he took us to the playoffs. So I'm always going to have that moment like in my heart. I still remember the name of the play. The play that they ran was Maserati, little quarterback power out to the right. Baker needed to get a yard. He got it. And that took us to the playoffs. Like I will always remember that. But come week 1, I hope Baker throws 4 picks and we beat the shit out of the Carolina Panthers, because I'm a Browns fan way more than I'm a Baker Mayfield fan. Like I am live and die with the Browns.
I mean,
Baker was nice.
I don't want to see the Browns lose, but I almost want to see Baker win that game, because we know that the Browns and Deshaun aren't going to get punished as much as we expect now.
Right.
And it almost needs to be a little bit of a punch in the jaw to be like, hey, you did fuck up, and these are the consequences for it. And then Browns can win out from there on out for all I care. But I almost want to see that just for Baker's sake and for the rest of like the NFL's sake. Is kind of like you got to take your licks when you deserve them. Yeah. And this is almost one of those situations.
We kind of deserve it right now.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not that I want to see your team lose, but I almost feel like that's like the correct. It's like karmic justice almost at that point.
I'm not a big karma guy, but man, that would be karma rearing its ugly fucking head right there. Now I'm not very bullish on the Panthers being really good. Not like Dan Orlovsky is though. Dan Orlovsky was on ESPN saying that with Baker Mayfield, that team could make the playoffs in the NFC. I don't know about that. They'll have to have a lot of things go right. That defense, which is pretty good up front, needs to get healthy, better on the back end. Their offensive line needs to play a little bit better. They did draft offensive line though. And so if CMC can stay healthy, he's going to have a massive weapon there, but like they could be fairly decent. Whatever Dan Orlovsky says, I typically agree with. He's a smart fucking guy. I don't know about the Panthers making the playoffs, especially in that division. NFC South is fucking going to be tough.
I mean, first half of the year, the Panthers definitely looked like they could be a playoff team, and then they just kind of unraveled and fell apart, and Sam Darnold started playing like Sam Darnold. If you keep guys healthy and you're actually getting a little bit more of a dynamic play out of your quarterback, which you can get with Baker, I think that they're a fringe playoff team that they could be. They do typically make some decent moves in the draft and stuff like that. And so if they're able to get stuff out of these young players, I suppose I could see them being a fringe playoff team. They're not someone that I think is going to dominate the NFC by any means.
Yeah, but maybe. So you're right. They are decent in the draft, terrible in free agency because they make moves like signing or trading for Sam Darnold and then signing Baker Mayfield and trading for Baker Mayfield and having Teddy Bridgewater. Like they've run through so many fucking guys in the last couple of years.
But at least they're trying.
I'll give them that. That or they're trying to get Matt Rule fired.
Yeah.
That's always a possibility.
If you're staying stagnant, their chances of getting better by doing the same thing over and over again are not great. Yeah. So at least they're trying something. And look, at the end of the day, Baker gives you the better chance to win over Sam, in my opinion. So you might as well make this move for a relatively low cost.
Yeah, it makes sense for everybody involved. I wish the Browns would have done this on fucking draft night, though, to get a third-round pick out of this. But, we've seen this before. We had a chance to trade OBJ, and we didn't. We fucking released him. Yeah. Seventh-round pick for OBJ would have been better than releasing him, letting him pick the team he goes to, which ended up being a goddamn Super Bowl team. And he ended up being a contributor, except for the couple plays where he didn't run the right route. I love our analytic-driven Ivy League front office. But sometimes when you're trying to be the smartest guy in the room, you end up being the dumbest. Like we just try to do a little too much and it comes back and it bites you in the ass. And we've seen that rear its ugly head a few times this offseason.
Yeah, definitely. As much as I like Andrew Berry and I like that Browns front office, it just seems like they've really stepped on their crank this offseason. And it's going to be a tough hole to get yourself out of unless you get a Super Bowl. And then it's like, well,
we better get a Super Bowl with Deshaun.
Worth it. Yeah.
If we don't get a Super Bowl with Deshaun, this is a categoric failure.
Yeah.
And it will get them fired.
Yeah. And someone will end up getting good front office personnel when they leave. Because trust me, pretty sure Andrew Berry will take these lessons learned and
he's going to land on his feet.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. Well, I don't have anything else on the Browns or that. Do we have any other storylines from the NFL we wanted to touch on?
There's just been a couple things here or there. We are getting really close to training camp, which is exciting. We're just about to, not that far off from having football back, which is really exciting. I've been, like I said, I'll go to the bar, hang out with the old lady, and while she has a couple drinks, I'll be watching the TVs and stuff like that. And they're actually playing replays of games and stuff, which is getting me really excited. I'm just sitting there thinking like, man, I miss football. So I'm super excited that we've got that coming up here shortly. But other NFL news, you know, the Raiders, they hire the first Black woman to serve as an organizational team president in Sandra Douglas Morgan, who she was from Vegas, previously the chairwoman and executive director of the Nevada Gaming Control Board, director of external affairs at AT&T Services in Southern Nevada, and a litigation attorney for international gaming and hospitality. It's, you know, don't know a whole lot about her, but obviously it's nice to see progressive moves like that, see more inclusion of women and minorities in sports and in the front office. So this is definitely a good move. You know, there's some other kind of filler stories that have happened throughout the week, like Trent Williams being the first offensive lineman to join Madden's 99 club, which I'm kind of surprised with. I think Trent Williams is good. I don't know if he's 99 overall rating.
The best
I
lineman
think
in
there's
the league.
Other linemen previously that
Joe Thomas
probably warranted that. Yeah, I'd go with Joe Thomas before I did with Trent Williams, but neither here nor there, I guess. Just it's a video game, and
and Madden has just not been good in several years. I didn't even buy it this year, I don't believe, because it's the same fucking game. Like Madden really needs to make some upgrades. Now, don't get me wrong. Like now that Graydon's getting to the age where he wants to play more video games, we can start a little Madden franchise, play together on the same team. But man, Madden's gone way downhill from where we were when we were kids, and it's still the best football game of all time was NFL 2K5 that had Terrell Owens on the front. I think that's still the greatest football game of all time.
I still get some passive enjoyment out of playing Madden because I just like having like the current roster players on the team and stuff like that, and kind of playing with it and getting to be that GM a little bit and moves and contracts and stuff like that. It's almost less of playing actual in the game because for whatever reason, and not to toot my own horn, but I've been real good at Madden for a long time. I had played in a Madden competition at the Mall of America in Minneapolis and gotten like second place in it at one point in time. Like
nice.
Playing Madden to me, the actual football part of it isn't as entertaining because of the lack of competition, even if I put it on the hardest settings. But the front office stuff is really kind of what gets me going now. And I don't need to be paying $60+ for a front office simulator.
They had a front office simulator game for a while. They had one of them that came out. I don't know how it was. I didn't play it. I was like, I don't know if I could do this. Like,
I gave it a try.
Don't get me wrong. I enjoy that aspect of the game, but that's not my thing.
No.
I enjoy it. I like, finding ways to, finagle trades.
I'll definitely be looking forward. I'll be looking forward to when college football gets their game back.
So when that drops, I am back in on the football game. So I have been religiously playing MLB The Show for the last 2 years, and it's fantastic. Love the game. That's how I knew about Derek Hall's massive upgraded card in MLB The Show. Hit a couple dingers with him yesterday. And so that's where I'm at. But when NCAA football comes back out, I am balls deep in NCAA football because that is the game that I was the best at. Like I was always a decent Madden player, but I was damn near untouchable in NCAA football. I was at one point ranked in like the top 2,000 people online. And that's all I would do. Like me and a buddy hang out. I'd play fucking NCAA. And every time I scored a touchdown, somebody had to do a beer bong. So we were getting fucking ripped. I mean, we were obviously very young, dumb kids at this point. Not under the age of 21, obviously.
I'm sure the statute of limitations is passed for that, Mike.
Okay, so it was like 18, 19. But so that was, man, I love that game. Cannot wait. And that's where I really liked the other stuff besides the football as well. The recruiting and the scouting and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. But other than that, man, not a whole lot has happened with NFL over the past week or so. So it's like I said, we have these filler articles and things like that. You're having a lot of who's the top 10 of this position in the league, who's the top 10 of this position in the league, and it is what it is, because you're just going to have analysts that are going to be generally canted towards certain teams and things like that they typically cover. So not a big deal, but we are getting real close to that training camp time. I am super excited for that, to start seeing some position battles and things like that. And we still got some guys out there that, are waiting to be signed.
Yeah.
I still want the Vikings to go out there and get JC Treader.
Yeah, I mean, JC's going to be a big help to wherever he goes. He's a stud. Won't practice, but an absolute stud. This is absolutely not. Oh, sorry, you put it up there. That's not happening. Not happening. I do like the direction the team is going, but no fucking chance.
Not expecting it to be reality. Oh, and Julio is that who you want, Goose? You want him on the Eagles to go alongside of AJ Brown?
I mean, they tried that in Tennessee and it didn't fucking work.
Yeah.
So I'm probably not bringing in Julio to the Eagles if I'm that. Well, if I'm Howie Roseman, I'm probably doing something really dumb. So never mind. Maybe they are bringing Julio Jones.
No, he says no. So maybe that's not who he wants, but that's just one of the names out there that still could go somewhere. So we'll see. Oh, Aaron Rodgers did get his first tattoo.
Yeah. I don't know what. I have no idea what the fuck it is. It's a very deep and meaningful tattoo that nobody understands.
So Goose says he wants Julio on the Vikings. That just doesn't work.
No.
We already have enough good receivers that are beyond Julio's talent.
Correct. I don't know.
He's not beating Thielen. He's not beating Jefferson. And then we have several guys who are vying for that third wide receiver spot, all who I like fitting as a third wide receiver better.
Yeah. I agree. No. Julio's gonna go ring chase is what he's gonna do. You know where Julio makes sense? The Buccaneers. Because they lost Antonio Brown. Yeah,
but I mean, that's the thing. Between Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, those are your two main guys. And then it's kind of the same situation that we have in Minnesota, where the third, fourth, fifth receivers, they all are a little bit more gadget, a little bit more role play, a little bit more niche. And that works in the system. If you have another big guy like a Julio out there, you're taking away reps from those guys. And whereas he's not a one-trick pony, but he's not bringing the specialty of all those guys. Yeah. I don't know if I even like that.
Is AJ Green back in Arizona?
I believe he's still in Arizona.
Okay. So if AJ Green didn't go back to Arizona, if he's not back there, Julio to Arizona makes sense to me.
I mean, I hate to say it, Julio to the Packers. They still could use receivers. They got Christian Watkins now, and not a ton else. So, but
and Christian Watkins hasn't played a fucking game yet, so we have no idea if he sucks or not.
True.
But all right. Anything else on the NFL?
No, man. I think that's about it.
Okay, we're going to move over to the NBA. This is going to be kind of quick. NBA, there's Summer League going on. One interesting quote that kind of came out from this is that the Lakers said that they love their roster. I don't know why. Doesn't make any sense.
They have to say it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to. They're like, yeah, our roster's not constructed very well because we're paying a guy who can't make a fucking basket $45 million. He also doesn't pass. He gets the ball and he shoots bricks. I mean, you could say that. I bet you Russell Wilson asked for a fucking trade or would have opted out of his contract if those words come out of your mouth. So you're not paying $45 million to him.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of those different things could have happened there.
Yep. And we're still watching the Kevin Durant trade rumors out there. So I had sent you a text on Saturday night. I'd seen something about how the Wolves have been in play for KD, apparently.
Yeah.
Have been in talks for him. And then we obviously ended up getting Rudy Gobert instead. And I'm very happy that we did that because the trade compensation that was being talked about for KD was just not in the ballpark of what I would be willing to do at all. They wanted Karl Anthony Towns. They wanted Anthony Edwards. They wanted the other players that got packaged in that deal to get Gobert, and the first round picks as well. Anthony Edwards and Cat are two best players on the team. KD's not worth those two, in my opinion. Young, up and coming stars for KD, who he's older. He's great, but he's older. He's not going to make up for that. and all those picks and everything is not worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah, so that would be let's reset the entire roster, sign KD, and see if we can find some mid-level exemptions to sign some role players. No,
Yeah,
I mean that's not gonna happen.
And if that's what the Nets are looking for to get KD out the door,
the people are gonna just sit there and wait, and they're not gonna trade Kevin Durant. It's gonna become a fiasco, like the entire situation out there in Brooklyn has been, and eventually they will get a little something for him because he'll probably sit out.
Yeah, that's asking way too much. I get it. KD is awesome, and you deserve to be compensated heavily, but you're kind of between a rock and a hard place when the player has said, I want out of here.
Yeah. You don't have any leverage with other teams, especially in the NBA. That's a players' league. So,
speaking of players' league, we just saw that extension from the Blazers for Damian Lillard. So you want to talk about that?
I do. So Damian Lillard signed a 2-year extension, 2-year, $122 million. It's an average of $61 million. So I did some research, and that would be the highest per year salary of any professional athlete in the United States from playing their sport. Now, obviously, some other guys make money outside of their sport, like a LeBron makes a fuckload of money outside of basketball while still making a fuckload of money inside of basketball. But $61 million is asinine. Don't get me wrong, Dame is fantastic. I don't know that he is worth that much because Steph is getting 48, I want to say, and he's not better than Steph. Good for Dame, get your bag, but man, these contracts are getting insane, and it kind of made me think like, if I'm trying to raise an athlete, I better find a very, very tall woman and hope that boy learns how to play basketball because them dudes are getting paid so much fucking money. Like, they probably have the best contracts in all of sports. Now, we see some baseball players get paid, right? Mike Trout getting $45 million a year over like a 10-year deal. So you got to lock in for a long time. Mike Trout has no wiggle room.
Trout's deal is a 12-year deal, 2019 to 2030. He's making an average of $35 million per year. The total contract value is $426 million. But when you look at that by a per game paycheck, he's only making $219,000 per game. I say only, that's more than I make in a couple of years.
Yeah.
But when you compare that to someone like a Patrick Mahomes,
right,
who contract value of $503 million, average per year is taking home $41 million. That's almost $2.5 million per game that he plays, or per game in general, even if he doesn't play the game.
Yeah. So a lot of that money is guaranteed for Pat.
Yeah.
And that's another thing is that so NFL contracts are getting better, right? The average salary is coming up. But one thing that the NFL falls in comparison to the other two major leagues, is not all that money's guaranteed. MLB and NBA contracts are fucking guaranteed. You sign that contract, you're getting fucking paid. That doesn't happen in the NFL. So if you want to raise an athlete, you better raise a basketball player. They better be really fucking good because the best athletes in the world are in the NBA, in my opinion. But like, those NBA contracts are awesome. Congratulations to everybody who got paid this year. Like, mid-level guys are getting an average like $19 million a year, man. Like, that's bottom end starter quarterback money. Like, we are finally seeing top end receivers break over that $20 million mark. And you're getting a mid-level guy who comes off the bench getting that kind of fucking money in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So, good job, NBA players. Keep getting paid. I love the fact that it is a players' league and you guys kind of dominate. I'm always going to be team player. Not going to be team Rich White who owns the team. But yeah, good for Dame. 61 is just so much fucking money, man.
It's a lot. It's going to bring his total earnings at the end of his contracts, I believe, with the Trailblazers over $400 million, $421 million or something like that.
That's a good chunk of change.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Not Lionel Messi money, but
No, well,
I get nothing.
I'm not talking about those soccer players because those dudes are they make the most ridiculous contracts. I mean, if you want to raise a international soccer star, that'd be great. But you live in America, if you're watching the show, probably. So they're probably not going to be as good at soccer as those international kids. I don't understand it. We have so many people to choose from, but still, soccer is king over there, and it is. I don't even think it's top 4 in the United States right now.
Probably not. But yeah, that's a good way to make money in Europe, I guess.
Yeah, if you can make it to
Messi's
Europe.
making $168 some odd million per year, almost 3.7 above 3.7 million per match that he plays. Messi's making some heavy money.
Yeah. That's that money you need a fucking scale for, so because you don't want to count it, you just weigh that shit.
Yeah, you just never have to ever think about money again.
No, man. I wonder what that's like.
I don't know. They say money can't buy happiness, but I believe that the people that say that are just the ones that haven't had that much money.
Yeah. I agree. All right, let's hop over to our last story for the day. We're going to talk about some Major League Baseball. So we had Gab on last week. It was awesome for her to be on the show, and we talked about how our Guardians were kind of scuffling back and forth. Played well against you guys, dropped a series, got swept against the Red Sox, and then after that, we have been on an absolute fucking slide. We're not looking good right now. We've lost 13 of our last 17, one game below 500 now. But one nice thing is that you guys haven't been playing well either. So we've lost, 13 of the last 17, but we're still only 4.5 games back from the Twins. So that's nice. Thank you for kind of keeping pace and not absolutely taking off at this moment.
Yeah, we're just kind of treading waters, how I would call it. We're last 10 games, we're 5-5. We've lost our last 2, but I mean, it's the high points are definitely high points for the team, but the low points are just kind of like, blah, like they're having way too much oscillation between good and bad games and not enough consistency with their good games. Obviously, it's still kept us in the lead here in the Central. We said 4.5 games. That's nothing to scoff at. We still got a lot of baseball left to play.
A lot of baseball.
But, at least it is a somewhat comfortable lead right now. But we got to start putting things together a little bit better, or Guardians got to start playing a little bit better, because
Guardians got to start playing better, man. We got to start fucking pitching. Like, we have been a pitching factory for fucking years, and we are not pitching well. Yeah, so that's what we were talking about. That slump that the Guardians are on is not great. We cannot fucking pitch right now. We are getting shelled by the Tigers. Like, that's terrible. I need my former Cy Young winner to fucking start looking like he is a front end ace in the rotation. I need my young guys who showed promise to get back up there. And then we need a fucking bullpen arm real bad, man. Like, I don't understand. The one thing that I was worried about coming into the season was that we're not going to be able to hit. We still, I think, have the best batting average in all of baseball as a team. We just can't fucking pitch. Like, if you'd have told me that Guardians will be a really good hitter, be good hitters, and can't pitch, I'd have been like, well, I don't know the last time you watched fucking baseball, but it hasn't been in the last, decade, essentially. So it's pissing me off. Hopefully we can get turned around. But, I mean, we had a 2-run lead going into the 9th last night. And we lose 4-3. Like, come the fuck on, guys. We got to start figuring out that bullpen. And, I mean, I still want to bat, but we did just make a big call up, Nolan Jones, Kai. I've been waiting for quite some time. I thought he was going to get, called up a couple of years ago, went through some injuries. He's also kind of blocked by Jose Ramirez, who should be the starter in the All-Star game, but is not. He lost that to Rafael Devers. But so now he's going to transition to the outfield. We need some power in the outfield. He's a left-handed hitter too, so that's helpful. Hopefully he kind of gives a little juice to that lineup that is filled with fucking young guys.
Yeah. And it's the same thing for the Twins as the trade deadline kind of comes up. We need bullpen help. It's been a crapshoot for us whenever we look to our bullpen. it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic because we've made some moves, but in general, the Twins never have been super great at those in-season trades. And if we really want to take the next step, I think that's a big thing that we need to be able to do is go out and get some relief help. And if we're able to do that, I'll feel way more positive about the rest of the year. I mean, I already feel relatively positive. I don't think that we're going to make a run for the whole thing as of right now, but I think it's possible if we were to get some bullpen help. Woo.
Bless you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So elsewhere in baseball, we talked about it. The All-Star break is coming up. All-Star starters have been announced. Well, as soon as I get those names again, because I got off of it, we'll announce those again. But one of the things I did want to talk about was the apocalypse happening. Rob Manfred has made a good decision and decided to add a couple guys to the All-Star list who probably would not have made it. Albert Pujols and Miguel Cabrera are going to be at the All-Star game as part of the new little collective bargaining they got. And this is a brilliant idea. So this is these guys last year. Okay. Both of these guys are going to go into the Hall of Fame. Albert Pujols over 600 home runs. Miguel Cabrera over 500 home runs, and the last guy to win a triple crown. So they're for sure getting into the Hall of Fame. But like, let's give these guys a little going away thing. Let's celebrate these gentlemen a little bit. Some guys go off into the sunset and then you don't know it. Like a Larry Fitzgerald, right? And then you get guys who go on farewell tours, like a Derek Jeter, a Kobe Bryant, right? I like those stories. I like those going away things because it gives fans one last chance, if you have missed them for their career, to go see one of the greats play. Well, this is going to be the last time anybody's going to get to watch Albert Pujols or Miguel Cabrera in an All-Star game. So I think it's awesome. I was very surprised that Rob Manfred did this, took advantage of it, because Rob Manfred is notorious for making completely boneheaded decisions. But
hey, like I said before the show, even a broken clock is right twice a day. I'm not ready to say that Manfred is making good decisions yet.
He made one good decision.
Yeah, and it might have not even been him. It might have been
somebody probably told him to do it.
His consigliere saying, you should do this. And him being like, well, okay. And taking the credit for it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just glad that they're going to get to go. But MLB All-Star Weekend, in my opinion, is the best All-Star game that there is. The Pro Bowl is fucking trash. We could just get rid of that game. Just give me the skills contest between the NFL guys. Do a bunch of those over the weekend, and I'll tune in and watch that. I'm not watching the fucking Pro Bowl. This last year, the Pro Bowl was awful. They didn't even tackle. They fucking played two-hand touch.
Yep.
Get that shit out of here. NBA All-Star Game is kind of cool, but nobody plays defense. I like the skills competitions there. 3-point and the dunk contests are always fun. But MLB All-Star Weekend, these guys are actually playing hard. They're trying to win. Home Run Derby is one of the greatest fucking events in American sports, in my opinion. Watching dudes just fucking launch balls into the atmosphere, I will never get tired of that, because you'll see guys hit balls 500 feet in the Home Run Derby. Shohei Ohtani last year was awesome to see. He's almost hitting balls out of fucking Coors Field in Denver. So I'm all here for All-Star Weekend.
I got the starters pulled up here if you want me to run through them.
Go ahead.
All right, so for the National League, we'll go catchers here first. National League, you have Wilson Contreras, and American League, you have Alejandro Kirk from Toronto.
Yeah, Alejandro Kirk, man, is young dude. He's going to be there a lot. He's been really fucking good.
First base, National League is Paul Goldschmidt from St. Louis, and American League, Vlad Guerrero Jr. from
guys
Toronto.
Who are on absolute tears. So 100%. Because once we get to the guys that shouldn't be there, I'm going to let you know.
Sure. Second base, you got Jazz Chisholm Jr. from Miami, and Jose Altuve for the American League from Houston.
Jazz Chisholm is absolutely electrifying. He is really good at second base. Jose Altuve should not be the starter for the American League. I'm not even sure he should be there. There are second basemen who are much better than Jose Altuve. However, all of Major League Baseball's All-Star is voted on by fans, which is one big problem with this All-Star selection is there's no other votes. There's no player input. Now, when the player input comes is the second round. Okay. Those guys get selected by their peers. So those guys absolutely deserve to be there. Jose Altuve is a good player. He is a big name, and that is the only reason he is there because there were a couple of guys. The kid from Toronto, I think Estrada, has been lights out. And then Andres Jimenez has been the best second baseman in all of baseball so far this year, but he plays in Cleveland, and this is his first year really doing this. So he's not going to get that nod.
Alrighty. Next, we got the third base National League, Manny Machado, and American League, Rafael Devers.
So Manny Machado is on a MVP caliber run right now. 100% agree with. Rafael Devers is also potentially in the AL MVP conversation. He's really fucking good. I don't have a problem with him starting over Jose Ramirez, but I would have liked to see Jose because I'm a little bit of a homer. I think Jose slumping over the last couple weeks is kind of what put this over the edge. And Devers has been fantastic all year. My heart was pulling for Jose Ramirez. I thought he should have started, but I am okay with Devers actually getting the nod there.
Alrighty. Shortstop, National League, Trey Turner, and American League, Tim Anderson.
Both really good players, and it's nice that a lot of the defense doesn't really come into this. Otherwise, Tim Anderson wouldn't be there. Tim Anderson has the most errors in all of baseball, but smacks the fuck out of the ball. Exciting, electric player. And Trey Turner, smooth as fuck. Like, good. I'm good with both of those as well.
DH for the National League, Bryce Harper, and American League, Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei was going to make it one fashion or another. He is the DH. Bryce Harper was also having a really good year. He is not going to play in this game, though. He just had surgery, had 3 pins put in his hand or his thumb area. So he's going to be out. I don't know who's going to end up taking that spot, but Bryce should have been there. Good he was voted in.
Well, it says for the National League, you're saying who should have been the DH for National League? Or
so Bryce Harper should have been the DH. I'm glad he was selected, but he's not going to play because he just had surgery on his hand.
Right.
So there'll be somebody else moving
for that in. Is Will Contreras from Atlanta.
Okay, so that will probably be who slides in there.
Yep. And then for the outfielders, so National League outfield is Ronald Acuna Jr., Jock Peterson, and Mookie Betts.
So Ronald Acuna Jr. Missed a lot of the start of the year. I'm very familiar with that because he was one of the guys that we kept on our fantasy team for baseball. Now, he's been really good since he got back. But he was the top vote getter in the entire National League. He shouldn't have been the top vote getter. He hasn't done that much as everybody else. But Ronald Acuna is one of the most exciting players in all of baseball. So he gets that. Do I have a problem with him starting? No. Did I think that he should have been the top vote getter? No. Still, absolutely fucking awesome. Great baseball player. It'll be fun to see him out there. I want to see that kid in the home run derby, though. That's where I want to see Ronald Acuna because he hits fucking nukes. You said Jock Peterson and
Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts is an absolute stud. He should be there every fucking year until he stops playing well. Like, I understand it's a popularity contest, big names. Mookie Betts is a guy that backs up that big name every year. He's not going to put up eye-popping numbers. He's going to just consistently go out, hit somewhere between 280 and 300, hit you between 25 and 30 home runs, and put up almost 100 RBIs every year and play the best defense in right field in all of Major League Baseball.
He's already got 20 homers this year.
Yeah, like he's on an absolute fucking tear. The dude is amazing. Jock Peterson, I'm a little surprised at, but he's been tearing the cover off the ball. It's a good thing that there are more righties than lefties as pitchers because he struggles against lefties, but is just hitting bombs off of righties.
And then American League outfield, you've got Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, and Giancarlo Stanton.
So Mike Trout is arguably the best player in baseball, him or Shohei Ohtani. He absolutely should be there. Aaron Judge is probably the AL MVP right now, and it's not that close of a race. Giancarlo Stanton is there because he plays for the Yankees. And that's the only reason he's there. There are so many other guys that I thought could have had that spot. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Dudes that, I get it, they are not big names. That's that popularity shit coming in. But Giancarlo has had a decent year. There are guys who are more deserving of that spot than he is.
So Giancarlo actually got 22% of the vote and just barely beat out Toronto's George Springer, who got 20% of the vote. So it was pretty close there whether or not he was going to be in there as the third outfielder.
I don't know. George Springer too. I mean, guys who are having decent years, good years. I still think there are other guys that were more deserving. Listen, congratulations to everybody. I want to see dudes hit bombs in the home run derby. The game is fun. I love them being mic'd up on the field, having conversations with you guys while they're playing. But the reason I tune in is for the home run derby. That's what I want to see. I want to see moonshots, fucking dong shots, just fucking letting it eat. But all right, that's all I got on that.
Home run derby is fun, man. I love the home run derby.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll ever be what it was when we had the whole steroid era. That was something.
Well,
just let them juice for a couple weeks and go out there and hit dingers. Come on.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Well, the steroid era is never coming back. They're gonna find other things. Trust me. They're gonna figure it out. They're still gonna hit bombs. Nobody's ever gonna break Barry Bonds' single season home run record of 73. But we're going to see guys get into the 60s again. That'll be fun. I mean, those records are never going to be broken. That 70, 73, 68 by Sammy Sosa. Those aren't getting touched because dudes were fucking pounding fistfuls of steroids.
Mm-hmm.
But
the good old days.
Yeah, the good old days. Back when baseball was the most exciting it's ever been.
Yeah.
All right, man. Yeah.
You got anything else?
I don't. Oh, actually, yes, I do. We have one last thing to do. Now, let me make sure that I don't have anything that I'm missing here in terms of our giveaway. So, the last thing we are going to announce, guys, is the giveaway for the Top Golf Live with producer Amber and myself. Got that one. Because if I get another name in here, I'm gonna have to redo this drawing. Because the winners have been selected off of the names that we did have. I wasn't sure how many more people we were gonna get, but if we do get more, I'm gonna fucking add you right now, and you're gonna see me tear up some pieces of paper and do this all over again. All right, so we got this. Nope, got it. All right. So, guys, the giveaway winners. Okay. So we did not have a ton of people. We had 5 people who signed up. So pool was small. You had a pretty good chance. You got a 20% chance of being a winner. And thank you everybody who kind of hopped in and wanted to do this. I'm excited to go with you guys. We'll send out some messages later. But our winners are going to be Cliff Reinhardt and Carlton Kidd. So one person I do know, Coach CJ, and one person I do not know, Cliff Reinhardt. It'll be nice to meet that guy and whoever he brings with him. But we will see you guys on the 30th of July for Top Golf Live. We'll send out details at some point over the next week. That way we can kind of make plans, have everything squared away. And yeah, we'll see you guys then. So I'm excited about that, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Very cool. It'll be nice to kind of connect, probably make a little content while you're out there.
I'm definitely gonna try to put out some content. It feels like a good time for a TikTok, considering I haven't done one in a long ass time.
Well, make sure when you're having the Top Golf food that it's nothing but Whole Foods.
So we have already decided that July 30th we're gonna do whatever the fuck we want. It's my anniversary. I'm just doing whatever I want.
Fair enough.
As long as I have permission from the boss, producer Amber.
True.
So, but guys, that is it. We're going to get the fuck out of here. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Congratulations to our winners. If you guys want to check us out, tell your friends as well. We got Facebook. There's a group and a page. You can go to TikTok, follow the Lineman Lounge 2.0. Don't try to follow the Lineman Lounge original because that shit got banned. Twitter, we are at Lineman Lounge. Instagram, at Lineman Lounge. And then you guys can check us out here on YouTube at any time. So thank you guys very much. We appreciate all your support. And see you guys next week. See you.
Welcome to the Lineman Lounge, hosted by Mike and Evo, calling their shots and being outlandish.
Breaking news from the Lineman Lounge. My fantasy football team just took a huge fucking hit. And that also makes it even more likely that the Raiders are going to beat the Ravens on Monday night. Le'Veon Bell is about to be your starter. Latavius Murray is going to go there as well. Jesus, fuck my ass.
Get ready for the thickest podcast in the game. Coming to you from Hangar 6, where sleeves are optional.